Hello everyone, this is Gary from Fantastic Fundas, and in this lecture today we will be studying about the right to freedom of religion, and then we'll also study about the cultural and the educational rights. These are the one set of articles where I can go into very large detail. Books and books have been written on these five articles, yet six articles, but considering that it is only for polity, I will just talk about the important things. Okay, now first of all you must understand that India is a secular nation. What do you understand by this word secular? The constitution, see, it is not irreligion, it's not absence of religion, it is not anti-religion, it's not going against the religion. You can expect a question on these lines because it has been in news, this term, again and again. Okay, now constitution, our constitution, it gives religious freedoms to things, two, individuals, right? One as a group, that one is to the individuals, right? Individuals. And then second thing is about the religious groups. Okay, religious groups, right? These two people have been given rights in India, right? But are in our type of secularism, we do not favor any particular religion. Okay, and this secularism is the part of the basic structure of the Indian constitution, where all religions, irrespective of their majority minority status, have equal say, right? And even the atheists have equal say, right? If they need to be respected, and we will find these things through in the various judgments of the Supreme Court, and also in these articles itself there will find that how India is a secular country. Okay, and the word secular was added by 42nd amendment in the preamble. I've already talked about this, and this is not 1793, 1976. And recently, in fact, there was also a dispute whether secularism word should be deleted from the preamble. See, even if the word secularism is deleted from the preamble, will we remain secular? Of course, we are secular, not because it is written in the preamble, right? There are many provisions, and then that is like one thing, the legal thing, and otherwise also Indians are very secular. They accept others, though there are sometimes disputes that cannot be denied. Okay, and then there are many things. See, Indian concept of secularism is of a mutual coexistence. सारे धर्मों के लोग आपस में exist कर सकते हैं. Whenever there is violence against any particular community anywhere in India, most of the times it is politically motivated, right? A common citizen is not really involved in it. A common citizen is very happy with the happenings, but at the same time there are so many decisions with which many other people feel disillusioned. Okay, and that creates a lot of problem. But at the same time, what is appreciable about Indian society is that we still remain secular. Most of the people in general remain secular. Actually, what happens, these politicians and some even religious leaders, they create this cry, वो ना एक शोर मचाते हैं, they create a cry of religion in danger, right? Actually, this is a very weird cry in itself, that their religion is danger, because religion itself is a very strong thing in itself. It cannot be in danger. If something is so strong in itself, that how it can be in danger? Okay, so if you see that so many religions have actually survived thousands and thousands of years and hundreds of years, whether it's Sikhism or Hinduism or Islam, right? So that shows the strength of the religion itself. The religion does not need your protection, and religion is for your protection, right? That is how it is. That is number one. And what about atheists in India? See, they are having the worst position in India, but then the law gives them equal status, and even the Supreme Court has done so. Okay, but the truth is that the number of atheists in India is very low. Religion is very deep rooted in our life, right? And if it is opposed, then there is a disruptive tendency. So everyone, see, you cannot oppose religion in India. Everyone wants to follow his or her religion in a particular way, right? And if there, otherwise there is disruption, right? So everyone is allowed to believe as they want. You can worship a stone, or you can worship a book, whatever you want to worship, or you can worship a feather, or you can worship whatever, even the birds, the animals, whatever you want, if wherever you see God. And if you don't see God, you are equally Indian, you remain atheist, and or whatever, right? Your status about religion be you, that is acceptable in India. Okay, so we give equal protection to all religions. That is important. important, right? There have been few instances of violence, there have been few extreme instances of violence. I will not go into any detail because that is beyond the purview of this lecture. But then, even then, that does not mean that this thing has ended. There is always equal protection for all religions, that no religion is put into danger. Just because I say something about somebody's religion, that religion cannot get diminished, because most of the religions are rational. Their teachings are rational. See, what Nanak has been teaching is the universal love. That is what he's taught. That was taught by Nanak. But please understand, if somebody says that Nanak was bad, it doesn't make Nanak bad, because people are logical. It's the same way with any god. But then at the same time, we must fight the unnecessary rituals and superstitions. You will also learn that even people like Raja Ram Mohan Roy were fighting. For example, sati system was there, or casteism is there, or let me go to the extent of saying the burqa systems, right? I see, it should not be enforced, just like yoga. See, yoga is good, right? But then it should not be forced on people. Same way, burqa system, it might be good or bad for somebody, but should not be forced. Caste system is absolutely bad in itself. So these are the things, right? Violence, if we talk about, no religion promotes violence in any shape, even, right? So violence should not be promoted. When God says fight, it doesn't mean that you should fight others. It's you fight yourself. Okay. That is the concept of secularism in India, right? And and whatever the secular activities in India, those can be controlled by the state under Article 25 to 30. So now all this I was talking to you right now. So before you even think that this is not related to topic, let me tell you, this is absolutely related to the topic, whatever I've just talked, because our article number 25 clearly lays down one thing at the beginning, that we give you a right to profess and right to practice. Okay, right to practice and profess, practice, and propagate your religion. Okay, what you can do is that you can talk about the teachings of your religion. You can spread it that way. You can practice your religion as you want, and you can practice your religion even in the most diluted form you want. Even then, you see, suppose there is a person, let's say he's a Hindu, okay, or let's say he's a Christian or whatever, right, or a Sikh, whatever. Now this person says that I do not want to wear a Janeu. He can practice that religion in his own manner. Indian polity gives you freedom. It might be religiously wrong for certain people, but then it is absolutely fine, right? Somebody says I will follow Christianity, but I will not get baptized. Or somebody says I will follow Sikhism, but I will cut my hair, or I will do this, that. So whatever the circumstances be, everyone has been given equality. Each individual has been respected under our constitution, and that is what the law is. Okay, I'm not promoting any of these activities. Please, I'm just speaking, giving you the legal status of the religion in India and of the individuals. Everyone has a free will to do the way they want, and in absolute manner, right? There can be no restriction by anybody, though there can be religious restrictions. There can be religious people condemning those acts, right? Now then, there is a propagation of religion. Once you like your religion, you can propagate it the way you want, but then all this does not mean that you can convert people. Okay, you can spread it, and somebody can convert of their own will, but you cannot forcefully convert anybody in India into any other religion, right? This is the normal thing, right, and the most logical thing. But all these rights of your profess, practice, and propagate, they are subject to few things, and few things are like public order, okay, and morality. There might some immoral practice if creeps into religion, that will not be acceptable, that can be stopped, right? And then health, for example, there was a case under which in Haryana, there was a rule made, if anyone has having more than 2 children, that person cannot fight the elections. Now many Muslims at that time said in this case that their religion, they have a practice of having more than 2 children, it is allowed under their religion, blah blah, and all this is violation of their religious belief. Court said no, because health of the woman is directly related to the children, and court said health of the woman is of bigger concern, and your right to practice your religion is subject to the health, and here the health of the woman has been taken into consideration. Same way, this is about this was a Muslims case. Same way, when it comes to Hindus, I remember there was a case in which actually there was a presidential reference by the president of the Supreme Court. In this case, the Supreme Court held that there cannot be burning of firecrackers on Diwali night after 11 p.m. or probably 10 p.m. It was 11 p.m. probably it was, because burning of fires is not directly related to the celebration of Diwali. Same goes for every other festival wherever the these are crackers are burnt. Okay, and same thing, right? And for if you are using your speakers and mics, even though there are limitations on that, they should not create havoc in people life. They are limited by the Environment Protection Act, right? And this Environment Protection Act governs the use of mic, and because it is related to health of the people, that is why your fundamental right of practicing your religion can be constrained when it comes to using speaker, because using speaker is not essential part of religion. Under religion, you can only profess, practice and propagate those parts of religion which are considered essential part of religion. For example, there was there was a group called Anand Margis, and what they would do, they would get into Tandav. Tandav is a form of dance, and they would do it on roads, and roads were blocked by that, and there were few problems, and court held that finally that this Tandav dance is not essential part of these Anand Margi sect, this religion, followers of Anand Margi. Okay, they and since it is not essential practice, it can be constrained by the state. Okay, so whatever is not essential part of the religion, whatever is essential, and see, if we talk about essential part of religion, for example, Sikhs have this thing of carrying 5 Ks with them, right? Karpan, Kacha, Kanga, Kada, right? So the right, and Kesh is the 5th thing. So now like they have right of this carrying Karpan. Karpan is a kind of a sword, and it is a small sword, you can say. Okay, you can Google this word Kirpan, you will find it how it looks. Okay, so because it is essential part of their religion, that is why they have been given this special right of carrying kirpan. But it does not also mean that they can carry all the big swords. It has to be a kirpan only, and it cannot be like too long. And see, whatever the definition of kirpan is, it must be carried that much only. It doesn't mean that you start carrying weaponry with you, right? If anyone wants to carry weaponry, whether Sikh or any other person, they will have to go to seek the permission of the government for carrying that weapon. Okay, but then because carrying kirpan is their special right, so they have been given this part. So that is why this is the meaning of the essential part of the religion. Doing Tandav Nritya is not an essential part, but carrying a kirpan was essential part of the religion. That is why it was given to them. Okay, so that is pretty much about Article 25. Now Article 25 is clause 1, right? And this article is of course for every citizen, every person who is in India. This is not just for the Indian citizen, right? Now, but then there is one more thing about Article 25, which is Article 25 clause 2. This part of the article is highly misunderstood. I will talk about it now, right? It says that nothing in this article shall affect the operation of any present law or prevent the state from making any law. Whatever is written in this article, it cannot prevent the state from making a new law or whatever the present law regarding the regulating of the secular activities of the religion, regulating secular activities of religion. Okay, now there are to every religion there are some secular activities and some are communal activities, right? For example, economic activities related to religion are generally the secular activity, because it has not to do with religion, or let's say the financial aspect of the religion or the political aspect. For example, you cannot ask vote to people in the name of the religion, that I am a Hindu, I am a Sikh, I am a Muslim, I am Christian, Jew, whatever, right? You vote me because of that. See, you cannot do this. This is violation of law, violation as per Election Commission of India, of the poll code, everything, right? It's a complete utter violation, right? So you cannot do this. So because it's a secular activity. First of all, this political activity, even if it is done by a religious group, okay, so they can be governed by the state, by the government. Okay, second thing, right? to bring these social changes. This is part of 25 clause 2 only. Now let's call this part A, and let me talk about part B here, right? See, to bring the changes in, about the social welfare, okay, social welfare, to bring the changes in the social welfare, or then what can be done is, the religious institutions can be thrown open, okay. Institutions can be thrown open. The word used over there in the law, in the Bare Act, is that, or throwing open of Hindu religious institutions, okay. Hindu religious institutions, okay, ऐसा लॉ में लिखा हुआ है. नाउ दिस एंड देयर इज ऑल्सो फर्दर रिटन ऑफ विच आर ऑफ पब्लिक करेक्टर टू ऑल क्लासेज एंड सेक्शंस ऑफ which are of public character. They should be public, it should not be private organization, right? And of all to all, right, to all, it's not of, right, to all classes and sections of Hindus, okay. Now when I say the word Hindu over here, it is done so for the purpose of brevity, for the purpose of conciseness. Law को हमेशा कम से कम शब्दों में लिखा जाता है. Law is written in the minimum amount of word. That is why over here the word Hindu, since it is mentioned twice, to make it easier for the purpose of this article, it was explanation was added, that in this clause, when we say word Hindu, it does not mean just the Hindus, it also means the Sikhs, it also means the Jain or the Buddhist, okay. Jains also and Buddhist also. Please understand, this does not mean that the constitution does not recognize Sikhs as a different religion. It does recognize Sikhism as a different religion. अरे जब when constitution gives Sikhs the carry, सिखों को जब वो मिला, the Sikhs got this right to carry kirpan, that means their constitution recognizing them as a different religion. Same way with Jains, just because it is written this way doesn't mean that constitution does not recognize them as a different religion. Of course it does recognize or Sikhism, Jainism, Buddhism as a different religion. It is just for the purpose of brevity. That is how the law is written, okay. So the reference is same. It doesn't mean that Sikhs are Hindus or Jains are Hindus or Buddhists are Hindus. No. They remain distinct characters, but for the even the in the interest of the social welfare, these institutions, religious institutions, which are of public, first of all public character, they can be open to all classes and all sections of Hindus. What does this mean? That if any institution, whether let's say any temple, or let's say any gurdwara, or any Buddhist monastery, or any Jain temple, all these places can be opened if they are closed because of some reason, right, which is against the social welfare. So in pursuance of social welfare, these can be opened if they are closed, okay. That is the thing that is being talked about. I hope I am amply clear over here, okay. So that is the explanation given. And explanation 1, as I explained you earlier, give the people following Sikh religion a special right of wearing and carrying, okay. They can wear it and carry kirpan. It shall be deemed to be included in the profession of Sikh religion, right. So उनको ये स्पेशल वहाँ पर मिल गया है, okay, right. So now we'll talk about the article number 26. Article C, once you have your religion now, you will also need to manage your religion, right, okay. So how do you manage your religion? So this article talks about the management of religious affairs, okay. Now it is also subject to certain restriction, public order, health and morality, same thing, right. But it says that every religious denomination, okay, it is, this right is actually for every religious denomination, okay. And they have this right. They can they can do certain things. For example, they can make some religious institution, they can establish and maintain some religious institution for charitable purposes. They can do such things, right. And then they can manage their own affairs of religion, okay. And then they can acquire, okay, let me just write it for you. They first of all, they can establish and maintain religious and charitable institution. That is number 1. This is the right given to them, because religions are all associated with charity. Then number 2 is they can manage their own affairs, manage affairs which are related to their religion, okay. So they can manage their affairs. What? These people of regional denominations who can make institutions, these people, okay. Now number 3 thing is they can also manage their immovable property. They have this right of managing their immovable property, right? Religious denomination, and they can also administer such property as per their wishes. Okay, so this is their right of the religious denominations, right? Now I'll tell you what do you, the meaning of the word over here, the religious denomination. What do you understand by religious denomination? Is it same as religion? Actually, it's a denomination of some religion, right? For it has to satisfy few a thing has to satisfy to be called a denomination. First of all, people following it must have some common faith, that they are following particular faith in particular thing, right? Then there should be some common organization which is managing it, and then number 3, that there must be some distinctive name of this common organization, to which is by which it is recognizable. Okay, for example, if I tell you the people who are followers of Shri Aurobindo, right, they do not constitute a religious denomination as such, right? See, but if you follow a particular denomination, then you become a follower of that. For example, as I talked about those people doing Tandav Nritya, so that case, right, that is a case of religious denomination only. Okay. There are many other examples, right? If you are a followers of Ramanujam, or let's say Vaishnavism, okay, then it is a religious denomination, right, which have their own common faith, and their organization, they have their own distinct name, right? Or we can say, let's talk about it, Muslim, you must have heard about these Daudi Bohras, okay, Daudi Bohras, right? Not Muslims, I mean Muslims, there is Chistiya Sufis, okay, Chistiya Sufi case jo hain, so all these are religious denomination in themselves. Okay, so this way they can manage their own affairs and establish and maintain new religious and charitable institution. They can do such things. Basically, once you have the religion, but you also need to do something for your religion. This is what I'm talking about here. Okay, now while teaching you Article 25, I just forgot to mention one thing, and that is known as the Jehovah Witness case. You must learn about this case. Okay, the Jehovah Witness case in a witness. Okay, let me write this again. Witness case. There is this paucity of time actually, so I have to hurry up. Okay, now Jehovah Witness case. This case is basically, I'll tell you the story. There are people in Kerala, group of people who call Jehovah, and they say we do not sing national anthem of any country. Even in UK they do not sing. I have heard about that case. Right now they do not sing national anthem anywhere, but their belief was a genuine belief that there is a particular reason, a religious belief, not because of whims and fancies and illogical and irrational things, but because of their genuine and conscientiously they believed about it. Okay, so court said that because our religion is of tolerance and our philosophy teaches tolerance, and our constitution practice tolerance, so you need not speak it, that is fine, but at least stand in respect of the national anthem, because that represents our nation. Okay, so that is how court said. And moreover, right to remain silent is a fundamental right to remain silent, so you need not necessarily sing Jan Gan Man, right? But I must again tell you, I talked about it, that when I met Dr. Kalam, he was asking us, all of us, to sing Jan Gan Man as loudly as we can and with all the pride in us. Okay, right? And then there is one more thing I just missed to mention in Article 25, that is use of the word conscience. Okay, there it is a freedom of religion and freedom of conscience. What do you mean by conscience? Conscience basically mean a right of the person. This right to conscience mean the right of the person to entertain beliefs and doctrine concerning matters, right? Whatever beliefs or doctrines I want to believe. For example, I want to believe even if it is not scientific or rational, but I want to believe in it, so I will believe in it. I have this right. My conscience says that I should get up every morning and worship an ant, ek chinti, I should worship her, and then I will learn things. Okay, that is how I will grow. So this is held to be a valid belief. One can practice this. Okay, and then I have loudspeakers. I've already talked about it, and that was Church of God case. Okay, so that was about that. Okay, now I've talked to you about religious denomination also. Now comes Article 27. Article 27 is important because all of you pay taxes. At least if you are not paying taxes, your parents might be doing that, or your guardians, whosoever. Now Article 27 says that whatever the tax is collected by the government, this tax cannot be used. It cannot be used for the promotion of any religion. Okay, cannot be used for promotion of any religion. Okay, now what does this mean? That state government cannot use its money for the propagation of any religion. That is why whenever any political authority uses money for any particular reason which promotes any particular religion, people get very conscious. For example, there was Guru Nanak Dev University established in which the teachings of Guru Nanak Dev Ji were to be given. Okay, so so a case was filed in court and Supreme Court held that, see, Guru Nanak, it is not just about following Sikhism. When we talk about the teachings of Guru Nanak, Nanak was the great son of the soil of India, just like many other sons. For example, Buddha was there and Mahavir Jain was there, Ram was there, right? On those bases, it is perfectly okay to teach about teachings of Nanak, and in any case, whatever Nanak has taught is of great importance to humanity, and that is why it is perfectly valid. Or for example, when on the 2500th birth anniversary, or probably it was death anniversary, I don't remember, probably it was birth anniversary of Mahavir Jain, there were many books published by the center. Okay, now people started saying that this is supporting Jain religion, but the truth is away from this. The truth is that people of so quote said again, Mahavir Jain was the great son of the soil, right? And he is a great person of India, just like Nanak, and we have a lot to learn from it. So nothing wrong in it. Okay, so this is the thing that you need to understand. Whenever anything is promoted this way, it does not really mean right. On these similar lines, if we talk about yoga, if government invests money in yoga, that is perfectly because it is good for the health of people. Okay, it is good for everyone, right? Now there have been few question mark. For example, in yoga, some people are objecting to Surya Namaskar or chanting of the word Om, right? Khair, I will not go into dispute of this because Surya Namaskar essentially has a religious connotation to it. But then, if there is no enforcement of yoga and people can omit doing, worshipping Surya, just do it as a simple exercise and not do it as a yoga, even that would be a valid activity, because see, yoga is for the good health of the people. Same way, just like Nanak's teaching are for the good mental health of the people, same way yoga is for good for the physical health of the people. So nothing wrong in promoting it, but it should not be made compulsory, and if people do not want to say Om, let's say, though Om, you see, even in Sikhism there is ek Omkar, and in Hinduism Om is there, and even Jainism there is the mention of word Om. So a lot of I don't know about Buddhism and other religions, but if you don't want to say that, that's fine, right? The problem is that that would make it a communal activity. There is involvement of religion, but as far as promoting yoga without these words and Surya Namaskar is concerned, that is fine. And see, Surya Namaskar is nothing but an exercise. That is the point. Okay, I'm not supporting Hindus for this. My idea is purely secular idea as per the constitution. It's just same. See, yoga is on the same level as the teachings of the Mahavir Jain. It is purely secular. It is nothing to do with the religion. Please be rational. Okay, and it is just like Nanak's teaching under Sikhism. See, you do not become a Sikh or whatever, right? Any religion just by following. If you study about Nanak, when you study about Nanak, you become a great human being. You become a good human being. Same way when you study about Mahavir Jain, same thing happens. You become a good human being. Same way is with yoga. Okay, obviously you can omit this part, and obviously when you're studying about Jain, you can omit certain parts of it. But if this is seen as a field of study, I don't feel that legally, at least, there is nothing wrong with it. There might be religious objections to it, but legally it is perfectly valid over here. Okay. So that was about Article 27. Please do not get offended. My humble apologies to you if you are feeling offended by any of my statements. Okay, this is just to my legal understanding of the thing, and I have read Constitution in great detail. Right, I've read like some 7 or 8 books. I've myself written a book on Constitution, which I hope someday I will get published. Anyway, right. So. Right, now we talk about article number 28 now, and article number 28 basically it is about the restrictions on religious instructions in educational institutions. Okay, in educational institution there is all sometime morning prayer in normal, not the religious educational institutions. Okay, so there cannot be a religious instruction in those educational institutions. That is the thing, right? So this is something very serious. When you make yoga compulsory, and that is okay to that point, that is a normal instruction. But if you make it compulsory, for people to chant Om, that would make yoga a violative of article number 28. But there is conditional, if only if there is, you are forced to say Om, okay, or if you forced to sing Gurbani, or whatever in Guru Nanak Dev University, that will be violative of article 28, or whatever of the hymns of Jains or Buddhist or whatever, all the religions, just not one religion. Please understand, I am very neutral to all the religion. In fact, I'm just giving the legal viewpoint, right? This is not to offend anyone. Okay, now under article 28 there are three type of actually restrictions. Okay, there are three type of institutions that have been talked about in article number 28. The first institution are those which are completely public in nature. If you read article 28, दिमाग घूम जाता है to article 28 because it's such a complex article, hardly people understand this article. So I have just simplified this article for you. There are three types of educational institutions that have been defined in article 28. One is the which are completely public in nature. Okay, completely public in nature. Okay, now there is absolute prohibition on religious education when it talks in these institutions which are completely public in nature, right? Why is religious instruction absolutely prohibited? I tell you the reason of it. Okay, why while teaching yoga there should not be teaching of Om or any other mantra in educational institution, especially public in nature, or hymns of any religion, whatever. So if we allow some religious instruction be given, say religious instruction on the ground that that majority are Hindus, okay? So what would happen? It would be violative of religious instruction, would be a violative of article 27. How? I will tell you. See what happens, that district board jo hota hai, the district board, it puts a levy on every person residing the area. So there is this small village, okay, there's and here it is the small school of the village. This is the village and this is the school. Okay, now you will better understand it. Now people go to school, and now here they were giving you religious instruction, some kind of religious instruction. What has happened on the people of this village? There is some kind of every person, there is a levy on people in this residing in this area because they have been given this facility of schooling. Okay, now because out of this money which is collected by the people, the school is being run. But article 27 says that the money that is taken from the people cannot be used for giving religious instruction. समझ आई बात? इन लोगों से we collected money from these people. This money is used in school for making the school, construction of school, for paying the teacher, for giving the uniform, giving the textbook to the students, such things. But if you give religious education over here, what will happen? See, the thing that will happen over here is that you are basically using public money for the purpose which is not allowed by 27. That is where there is complete prohibition of religious instruction, right? This is like number one. Number two reason is there is multiplicity of religions in India. Which religion will you teach? Tell me one thing. Will you teach about using public money? Will you teach about Sikhism, Buddhism, Jainism, Islam, Hinduism? What will you teach? बच्चे तो पागल हो जाएंगे. Children will go mad if you start teaching them so many religions. They will be confused. Okay, I mean, come on, with due respect to religion, it will be so burdensome for a small child to understand all the religions. So I don't think even adults do not understand religion. How will a child understand it? Okay, so it will not be possible. So the problem is of the multiplicity of religion. That is why we cannot give religious education in India. Further, see, people, our religions are sometimes divided, right? For example, there are different paths of salvation, of achieving God. See, somebody says you should all the time just worship the name of the God. Somebody says do havan. Somebody says do do this, do that, whatever, right? Different things, different rituals. So which rituals will be taught? Okay, in the words of Dr. Ambedkar, if Muslims are there, they will call non-believers as kafirs, and same thing will happen with the Christians, right? So there will be atmosphere of disturbance in the institution. That is why we do not allow any kind of religious instruction in completely public institution. Okay, what do you mean a public institution? Which is owned by the government. सारा कुछ government सरकारी है. Okay. Number two is the kind of institution which has been talked about, where the state government act as the trustee. But it is a private institution, but the state government act as the trustee, and in this the religious instruction is permitted. Right now, this is the exception to the first point that I've just talked to you. And then third is the state aided, or it is not the complete control of the government, it is just aided or wherever the state gives the recognition to the denominational institution, state gives the recognition to the minority institution, or if not minority, of particular religious institution. In that case, particular religious institution, denomination word I've already talked to you, okay. So state gives the aid or gives the recognition to denominational, I've talked the word denominational institutions already, right? Now in this case, what happened, that religious instruction can be given, right, but on voluntary basis, okay. It has to be voluntary, it cannot be forced on the children, right? That is the thing. Basically this article over here is supplementing later on of our right. There's article 30 clause 1 which I'll be talking to you. Article 30 clause 1, just for a quick reference, I'll talk to you about this in detail in later on. Please for now understand just this much, that article 30, it gives every minority, whether linguistic or religious minority, that is a minority on the basis of the language or the religion respectively, they have the right to establish and administer their own educational institution of their choice, okay. So they can establish and administer, right? So basically I can say that 28 clause 3 is supporting 31, because when there is certain age, you can voluntarily, if students permit, you can give them religious instruction in these. So this way article 28 clause 3 is supporting article 30 clause 1, okay. So that was pretty much about article number 25, 26, 27 and 28. There is nothing much more about this, just a quick reference I can give you if you want. There is a very famous case of NCERT case, right? It was a case involving that some religious education is being given through the NCERT, but in this the court held that, see, from 50 years of experience of working of constitution, we have learned that complete ignorance and apathy toward other religion has not helped, ठीक है. आज तक हमने क्या हुआ, if you do not really see, lot of people complain that Sikhs carry this kirpan, okay. See, we are not able to appreciate it. A lot of people complain about Hindus going to temples, okay, or offering to God for or their rituals. A lot of people are criticizing them, or a lot of Islamic people are criticized for their various activities, right? There is criticism in the society, that cannot be denied. I'm not criticizing, some other people definitely criticize a lot of things, but please understand, you will you will understand that this is part of the religion of others. If you want to have tolerance towards the practice of their respective religion by others, then you need to be educated, and if you are well educated about others' religion, only then you can better appreciate other religion. And for this, all religions can be, any religion can be taught in the books. This is what the court said, okay. The idea is that it should not be a religious instruction. See, you have to understand, one is called the religious instruction. I am also not in support of this. See, religious instruction means that if I go and start teaching you about Gurbani, or start teaching you, Quran, or whatever, right? All the religious textbooks, or Ramayan, or I start teaching you all that. So that is what is a religious instruction. That is not allowed, okay. If I, on the other hand, I talk to you about the study of religion, हम एक इसको एक समझने के लिए पढ़े, we understand, we study the religion, and then we may follow, we may keep the kirpan and the beard, or we may wear the jinev, or whatever the Islamic activities, whatever you want to do. But if you understand the religion better, you have to study it, and once you study it, there is always more tolerance towards the other religion, and that brings peace and universal brotherhood to India. That is the purpose of article number 25, 26, 27, 28. Okay, now I'll just quickly move on to article number 29 and 30. And see, article 29, 30, they are related to two things. One are the cultural rights. I have already talked to you about the religious rights. One are the cultural rights, and other are the linguistic rights or the language rights, okay. In fact, is rather educational rights, not the language rights mentioned, okay. One is the cultural rights and other is the educational right. So article 29, 30 deals with this, right. Now article 29 and 30, before I dwell into the details of theirs, I will quickly tell you about the difference between article 29 and 30. A lot of people, they just remain confused about these articles, so I will just explain you these articles, okay. Just give me a moment, please. Okay, now first of all, okay, here I will write about Article 29, here about 30. Okay, now this is for whom? First of all, my first point is which article is for whom. This is only for the citizens. Okay, Article 29, and here it is for everyone. Right. Number two, right now this is in what cases, right? This is for whom? Is it for minorities? For whom? Okay, this is another question of whom. Is it only for minorities? That is the question. So this is for minorities and other citizens. So this is for everyone. Okay, you can be minority or majority. And article number 30 over here, this is only for minorities. And what kind of minority you should be? You have to be minority in any of these things. You should be either religious minority, right? For example, Sikhism, Islam, Buddhism, Jainism, all the religions except for Hinduism at national level are minority in India, right? And Hinduism is minority in only 5 states. Okay, probably the Jammu Kashmir is there, Punjab is there, some states for Arunachal Pradesh are there, probably Manipur is there. I'm not sure about which northeastern states are there, right, in which Hindus are in minority anyway, right? So minorities, what kind of minority? You have a religious minority or you have a linguistic minority. See, if you are speaking, let's say, a Punjabi language and you go to Andhra Pradesh, you are a linguistic minority there. Or suppose you come to Punjab where everyone speaks Punjabi and you start speaking Hindi, so you are again a linguistic minority there. So this is the way minority is being seen. And then if your script is used in minority and then your culture is of minority culture, right? So such things are there regarding minority, right? So this is number 1. Number 2, let's talk about number 3. See what kind of right it is. What you can do with your right over here? It's a general right. Please understand, this is a general right. For what? To conserve your language or culture. Okay, this is for conserving your language or culture. Okay, now this over here is only establish and administer educational institution of minority choice. Okay, so this is about establishing and administering institutions. It is for the purpose of the institutions for these minorities with which they can promote their religion, language, script or culture. Okay, then comes the number 4. Has educational institution necessarily to be established? I mean, is there a necessary to establish an educational institution over here to exercise this right? See, no, this right can be exercised without establishing an educational institution, right? Now, see over here, this right itself may or may not be used. You may or may not do that, but you have a right to do so. Here you need not do it at all. Okay. Number 5 is about that. If you open an educational institution, what kind of institution it will be? See here, you cannot even open it. There's no need, actually. You don't have to open the educational institution to exercise this right. And over here, institution need not be just for language, script or culture. Okay, it can be a general educational institution established by minority. Okay, it need not be necessarily based on your religion, language, or culture or script, right? It can be just related to established by a minority. Okay, it has to be by a minority, and it need not be any of the above mentioned things. Okay. Now, if we talk about the kind of protection given, what kind of protection has been given under these, right? Here again, it is a general protection that has been given, and here the special right has been given because minorities can establish an educational institution of their choice. Okay. So, because of this article, if a question comes in your paper, minorities in India have more number of fundamental rights, that is the correct statement. Okay, because of this article 30. Right, now let's talk about article 2930 ka Bayer Act. We will do a quick reading of the Bayer Act so that it is easier to understand. We will not go into much detail of that. Okay, and I'll just read the relevant Bayer Act for you. You need not go into full detail of it. Right now, Article 29 is about that any section of the citizen residing in the territory of India, who having a distinct language, script or culture, they have the right to conserve the same. Okay, so anyone, right, as I said, right, this is anyone, minority or majority, but you have to be a citizen of India, and then you can do what? You can conserve your language, script or culture. This is what 29 clause 1 is saying. It is just this much. Okay, there is no need to read this, right? And number 2, article 29 ka jo clause 2 hai, what is it about? It talks about that no citizen can be denied admission into any educational institution, right? Agar you maintain some educational institution for doing this, But if it is funded by the government, okay, and if it is receiving aid out of state fund, then you cannot deny permission to anyone on the basis of the religion, race, वही same things, right? Religion, race, caste, language, or any one of them, okay. Religion, race, caste, language, okay. But this also means that you can differentiate, that you can establish a institution for conserving, right, your language, script, or culture, and do it just give just admission to the females. That is why in India we have so many all male and all female schools and colleges, okay. That is valid. Now this might get invalid under article number 14, which is right to equality, but even then it will get justified. That is beyond the scope of polity. Let's leave that, okay. Now comes article number 30, which is the last most one of the last fundamental right. After this, just one or two remain, which is about the judicial remedies, okay. Now article 30 over here, see, it is about that now this is just for the minorities, okay. And these minorities, whether they can be linguistic minority, language based minority, or they can be religion based minority. For example, all Sikh, Muslim, and Christians and Jews and all, right. So whether they are based on religion or language, it shall have the right. So they shall have the right to establish and administer educational institution. Please understand, now this is how I was saying that this right under article 30 to establish and administer educational institution is it's a specific right, it's a special right, and they can establish educational institution of their choice. That is by their choice I meant that the educational institution, the level they want, right. They can be a 10th school, a 12th school, a grad or post grad or PhD, right. Whatever you want, you can set up, okay. Now see, whenever state acquires any property, because here you establish an institution and state wants to acquire that property, you establish this educational institution on the border of India. Now government wants to acquire this because there might be war. So what will happen, the government of India, it will have to ensure that you will have to the minority institution will be given certain amount of money. It will be compensated to such an extent that such a acquisition of property does not abrogate or violate their fundamental right guaranteed under article 30 and all these articles, okay. So whenever any religious institution is disturbed by way of acquisition of property, that religious institution has to be compensated in the apt manner. Please understand that this shows that our constitution has given religion such a high importance, okay. And state shall not discriminate against any educational institution, or it should not discriminate against all these educational institutions on the ground that it is under the management of minority, okay. All institutions shall be treated equally. Just because it has been established by minority, it need not be treated unequally, or it need not be discriminated against, okay. So that is about the article 30 ka clause 3. I'll just put it here. Let me just write here, article 30 clause 3, there can be no discrimination, okay. Discrimination, just remember these words, okay. So I hope it is pretty clear to you. If you have any doubt, please put in the comment section. Sooner or later I'll talk to you about that. Now before I end this lecture, I would like to talk to you about few more things about the linguistic minorities in India, okay. Linguistic minorities in India, this is the right place to talk about it. Now what happens, see, broadly speaking, if I have to say that linguistic minorities are those minorities in India which speak a language other than the language of the majority in the state, okay. So language of minority in state, okay, the language is spoken in minority, okay. So that is the minority, okay. This thing happened more actually in India, because after this thing, State Reorganization Act was there, India was divided on the basis of the linguistic lines, and because of this division of linguistic lines, we have the concept of majority and minority linguistic people in those respective states, okay. So that is the thing about this, right. Now, for the protection of these linguistic minorities, there are various provisions to the constitution that have been added. Okay, now these are very spread out distribution. So I have just compiled a list of few articles from the constitution which I feel are associated with the interest of the linguistic minorities. Okay, first of all is article number 350A. If you go to this chapter of special directives, right, then there you will find this thing. Okay, this is actually given under the part number 17 of the constitution. Under this there is chapter of special directive, article number 350A is there. It says that it's a very interesting article. It says that facilities for instruction in mother tongue at primary stage. So in the primary stage of your education, which is the most basic founding stage of the student's life, state shall try, right, and every local authority shall try that which is within the state. So okay, so state is the responsibility of the state and of every local authority within the state. So state plus local authority, okay, they both have to do this thing, and that is the responsibilities on them. So what is that they have to do? They have to do this. Okay, they have to provide adequate facilities for instruction in the mother tongue. Adequate facility for instruction in mother tongue. Okay, instruction in mother tongue, matrabhasha. Okay, so over there this will be done for the mother tongue, and then this is of course only for the primary stage of education, right, and this is for linguistic minorities, right. And president also can direct the state to take certain action in this regard. This is given in the article 350. It says the president may issue such directions to any state as he consider necessary, okay, or proper for executing a provision of such facilities, for providing such facilities. Okay, so that is given under 350A. And 350B is supports 350A. It says there shall be special officer for linguistic minorities, and this person actually will be sending reports to the president about the 350 article 350A. Okay, now linguistic minorities also have been given few other rights in the Indian constitution. For example, if you talk about article number 345, in 345 there is this provision of official language or the language of the state. Okay, what should be the language of the state? What about the minorities there? So it says that, right, that the legislature of the state, जो state legislative assembly है, they have to pass a law, they have to pass an act basically. Okay, and by this act they can adopt any one or more languages in the use in the state. Okay, they can adopt any one or plus any number of languages that they want that are used in the state, or they can also use Hindi, okay, as the language or the languages for their purpose. Okay, now this is given under article 345. Further, there is further protection for the linguistic minorities. This is basically supporting linguistic minorities. Okay, now don't see it otherwise that this is against minority, this is supporting minority. And then there is 347, which talks about special provisions which are related to the language spoken by section of the population of the state. Only particular section speaks. And what is that? See, if there is a demand made by a section of the state to the president, that particular language should also that they speak that they have a substantial portion of population speaking that language, that should be recognized by the state. Okay, and they can request the president that to issue such an order. Okay, so any language to be recognized by that state, they direct that such language should be officially recognized throughout the state or part thereof. Okay, as the president may specify. So such things can be done, right? People can get together and ask the president of India for the same, right? The president may do so. Okay, now obviously it's not that you're not directly dealing with the president. Okay, but then if the president is satisfied there is substantial proportion of the population of the state, then then he may just do so. President also need to be clear that there is a substantial proportion of population which is believing that there is a big population supporting speaking that particular language. President should be very convinced about it. Okay, so that is given under article 347. Okay, so now so that is the whole thing, right? Now I just would like to mention few cases which are related to article number 29 and 30, right? There was once this case, it just might come in your exam somewhere, so just like to mention these cases. Number one is the Saint Stephen case. In this, it was held that at least 50% of the annual admission in the minority educational institution should be kept for other communities, okay? And but this has to be done purely on the basis of merit, okay? Then then came the Unni Krishnan judgment, okay? And Unni Krishnan judgment, Supreme Court actually introduced 3 types of seats. It said that 15 seats are the management seats, and on which the fees is not limited. You can charge the fees as you want. Number 2 is fees is not limited, right, on that. Number 2 are the 30% seat are the state government jo fix karegi. State government fixes the fees on it. See, basically this was done keeping in mind, so because even the political, this educational institution needs money for their running. So 15% seats were for the management quota, which could be charged any amount of money. 30% of the seats where they were state government would fix the fees for them, and 50% of the seats are free seats, basically, on which you cannot charge this huge money, right? It has to be based on the merit. Merit on based on the common entrance test would be done for this, okay? And then came this landmark case of TMA Pi Foundation, okay? TMA Pi Foundation, okay? And in this citizen, it was said that in this in this case, it was said that all citizens, they have a right to establish and administer educational institutions, okay? And this right to establish minority educational institution, this right is not absolute, because just because you have been given the right to establish and administer some minority educational institution, it does not mean that you start misgoverning that, or you start giving wrong education that. So to certain extent this can be controlled, but only to the limited extent, and control is only for the purpose of the quality. Please mention this thing, okay? And then fees to be charged by an if a minority educational institution is unaided, then it can charge any fees that it wants. But if it is but it cannot charge, no institution can charge capitation fee, okay? It can charge any fee but not the capitation fee, and this need not be regulated if it is unaided, okay? So that is the basic thing. And then there was very famous case of Islamic Foundation, okay? This is like TMA Pi. Then there was a case of Islamic Academy of Education case. In this case, Supreme Court basically they held that the issue over here was the constitution does not define the word minority and majority, okay? And it was held that the article 30, it confers on linguistic and religious minorities, okay? Article 30 gives basically to the linguistic and the religious minorities only the right to establish and maintain minority educational institution, linguistic and religious minorities. That is what is given in that law. Okay, so that was about that. After that, came this judgment which is called as P. Namdar judgment, which allowed for private reservation, reservation in private institutions also. Okay, but then Supreme Court, Parliament came with Article 15, Clause 5. It held that there cannot be reservation in private institution, PA Namdar. Then government came with Article 15, Clause 5 by an amendment to the Constitution, under which it was allowed to make a a reservation even in the private sector by providing by the law, okay? Then finally I will just tell you about a very important issue that might come in your paper related to article number 25 to 30 actually, and this is about the conversion from one religion to another. There is a very famous case. If you have to mention this case in paper if you want to score marks on this particular topic, and it is the Rev Stanislaw, okay, versus state of MP. In this, it was specifically held that conversion is absolutely illegal in India. It cannot be done. Though you can propagate your religion and somebody likes your religion, they can come to your religion, but it does not mean that you force the people to convert into their religion, okay? This is not to particular religion. The freedom of conscience is to every religion, right? Everyone can propagate their religion, okay? State can intervene in the defense or the public sector, but even if conversion is if some conversion is legal, even then there can be interference in the defense of the public order. To maintain public order, government can interfere in even if there is perfectly legal conversion. Okay, these some activities can be curtailed because it just might create chaos in our society, which is already very, very sensitive to the religious issues. Okay, so this is the primary thing. Right now, basically the conclusion is that only voluntary reservations are valid in India. Some states have passed the anti-reservation laws also. Okay, so that was about these the articles. Next in time we will be talking about article number 31. I will not go into this, is basically related to property, but I don't want to go into much detail of it. Actually, this is a huge topic, right? When I studied this topic, there were like 250 plus pages I studied on this topic. So, but I have to tell you all this in just one page. Okay, so I cannot go into much detail. And then will come article 32, and very soon in that lecture, probably on the next one, we'll enter all the fundamental rights. And after that, we will be working on the polity very fast. So that was all about today's lecture, and now just wanted to make two very important announcements. And the first thing is that I just wanted to thank you all whosoever you have shared my videos on various social media, on Facebook, Twitter, Google Plus, everywhere. Thank you so much from my heart, and it is my humble request that you please keep on sharing this video in future also. जिन्होंने आज तक नहीं share, if you really like the video, it's my humble request, please share it with others. That gives me encouragement to make better videos and ज़्यादा वीडियोज़, एंड आई कैन कवर ज़्यादा सब्जेक्ट अगर आप इस वीडियो को शेयर करते हैं. एंड सेकेंड थिंग इज़ that this is for your own benefit. If you really like these videos and you want that updates about the new videos should come into your mailbox, you can subscribe to us. You can see the subscribe button over here. You can click on us and videos will come right into your email box. आप हमें सब्सक्राइब कर सकते हैं. अगर ऐसा करते हैं तो वीडियोस डायरेक्टली आपके मेल बॉक्स में आ जाएंगी. बस इतना ही कहना है. That is all, and thank you for watching the videos.